So this is where we left off, is this part right here, right? So this is your navbar.js with it, right? Let me bring you back to here. So let me separate our conversation here with what we currently have with this. So we did number 1 is your CSS. We did your number 2. We did our number 3, app.js. We just did navbar.js. The last one is going to be number 5, which is your menu.js. And this is the one, this is the last file with it. So this is your menu navigation. I would like for you to come by and let me move this out of the way. And let me collapse the asset here. And the menu nav, menu.js, is just a blank slate right now, right? So inside of this, you're still going to have some preprocessor files, such as your import. They all talk to each other, right? You're going to do React from React. This is what I was going to tell you if you want to try this out here. So remember that the purpose of downloading that particular file is to give you, if you do RFCA, remember this right here, and you hit enter, it actually puts in a lot of these things that you actually could do, and you get types in with it as well. So RFCE, for example, is another type of import from React with it, and it kind of writes your function for you with it, right? So in this case, you see how nicely it kind of puts in your function for you with it. So RFCE, and you hit enter, and it actually gives you, it helps you to return on some of the stuff with it as well. So it writes your header file, makes it really slick for you. Name of your function menu is the same name as your file. What's that called? A constructor. So get used to those terminology as we move into this as well. So the second one, second library file, I thought, like I said, I just want to show off that to you. Import, and we're going to actually import in the menu list, which you haven't created this Java file yet, by the way. This is you haven't done this one yet. So this is going to be from the directory let's call that helper. The helper directory /helper, this directory right here, you haven't created yet. So let me expand that, and you're going to do that in the next exercise in here as well with it. So helper, helpers with an S / and the name of the JavaScript file is menu list. Okay, so this is the menu list you're going to actually bring it into. It's a semicolon. Make sure you punctuate this properly, as it's not going to work with it. Okay, so that's the second one you're going to bring in. Import menu item. This is another one you haven't created yet. All right, so I'm just using it as a placeholder with it. Menu item with it. From, again, these are the ones that I'm setting you up for the next exercise components. All right, and inside of that you have you don't have it yet, but it's called menu item. Make sure you have the same spelling as here with it, because you're going to have to, you see how it's kind of faded out with it. This one, next one, you do have. It's import styles. Okay, just click on it, and inside styles you're going to go to where? You're going to go into the menu.css. So here's your styles, and you're trying to get to the menu.css, which is this file right here, right? So you can do that and get kind of menu.css with it. Cool? And you come to the right of that and hit enter. So these are all of the current files. If you notice, these are a little brighter fonts, and these two are not loaded right now because you haven't created the file yet with it, right? So if you like, here's what I recommend you to do. You can come in here, comment these out for me. Just leave, just know that later on, I put this here as a placeholder, so it doesn't, so you don't forget. That's what that is with it, right? Because all these files talk to each other with it. All right, the function menu. Remember, this is the menu right now with it. So we're going to come into this thing right now. Function menu, open up your left curly brackets, right curly brackets, return inside of this with it. And I'm going to place my cursor after the U, hit enter. I'm going to open this up a little wider because I'm going to write some stuff in here with it. Inside of this, I'm going to just take out the word menu for now. The div, I would like to call the class name is called menu. You haven't wrote this yet, so you have to you kind of have to write this ahead of time with it. And H1 class name tab. This class name that you're going to actually put in double quotes is called menu title, which you haven't wrote yet, but you're going to, right? But you're going to call this our menu. Okay. And then you come down here, you do div, class name, same thing. I wish the IntelliSense kicks in. Helps. Class. Come on. Name. I guess not. My visual code doesn't like me a lot of times. Maybe I'm recording, that's why. And I'm going to call this thing menu list. Two different JavaScript files with it. Div, and I'm going to hit enter. And just to move that down to down here. Just kind of open it up with it. So let me tighten this up with it. So again, this is the menu list we're looking at right now, right? Inside the menu list, this is the div tag that you have with it. Where I want you to open up the curly brackets. It's just going to get really messy here, so follow along. I like to write in 2-dimension. It just makes it a little easier. The left curly bracket. You're going to use what's called menu list. This menu list is this menu list right here, right? Dot map. Open up two parentheses for me. Menu item key. And you come to the right of that, hit space, and you're going to open up the left curly brackets, hit enter, and you're going to type in return, left curly brackets. I know this is getting really complicated. And you're going to, inside of this, you're going to pass in a menu item, a key number, an image, a name, and a price. Okay? So inside of this, you're going to pass in a menu item, okay? Let me just tab in, indent in a little bit so we can see key equals to, this is a element that you're going to actually do it with it, image, and menu item, make sure it's uppercase, image with it, name, menu item dot name. Let me type this and I want to explain to you what all this means. Menu item dot price. So you come out of this. Remember now, this needs what? A right curly brackets, a right closing for that. So you do this / and the right angle one. So make sure it pairs. This left angle bracket has a / a closing of that. So make sure that's one thing. The second thing is that when you look at your left parentheses, this left parentheses is this left parentheses here. So make sure you have a semicolon after that, okay? Coming down to your next one, you should have is this curly bracket. This curly bracket, this is how nested it is with it, all right? To match with this curly bracket with it. Okay? Got it? And this left one matches with this one right here. So you need to take this one, okay? Make sure you have, I'm going to take out the spaces in here. So we don't mess everything up here. And you can always click on it to match whatever it is with it. All right. So if I click on this top one, it should match each one of these things with it. All right. Let me leave this up here for now, and I want you to make sure you have what I have right here with it. This particular function, this one right here, make sure you have a semicolon after it as well. So let me come back here for a second. You notice how it automatically puts in this top line here. I want you to take that out with because I commented out this right here. That's what actually happened. So when we use the menu items with it down here, it didn't see it, so it already writes it for you. But I want you to actually pull this from the menu item here. Make sure it's uppercase properly with it. So make sure it looks like this. Okay, make sure it looks exactly like this. Let me give you a few seconds to pause the screen before I stop the video on this one. Okay, I'm going to stop the video.